Koenigsegg just announced a crazy new motor that weighs less than a suitcase, punches out 800 horsepower, and it's almost pure carbon fiber. But first, rewind decades. Christian von Koenigsegg was that kid who yanked apart his toy fire truck because the siren wasn't loud enough, then rebuilt it with a speaker from his dad's radio. By 15, he was sketching supercars in math class. By 22, he was hustling seafood cooler money into a shed where he cut carbon fiber by hand. The goal? Build the world's fastest Swedish car, no matter how crazy it sounded. Carbon bodies, camless engines, zero delay gearboxes. Every time rivals catch up, he moves the goalposts. You thought that was big? Try this. In 2020, Koenigsegg unveiled the Quark motor. 28 kilos, 335 horsepower, 600 Newton meters. It was small, angry, and fast, like a Jack Russell Terrier that just got caffeinated. They even made a twin-motor module called the Terrier, cute name, savage output. But it wasn't enough. Christian looked at it and said, cool, let's make one that eats this thing for breakfast. But hold up, this is where it goes from wild to completely unhinged. And so, the Dark Matter project was born. 800 horsepower, 1,250 Newton meters, 39 kilos, a one-arm lift, just 383 millimeters wide and 135 millimeters thick, that could power an entire grid of race cars. Christian didn't just want fast. He wanted a motor that could punch holes in physics and still fit under the hood of a hypercar.
But what if I told you the name isn't just marketing swagger? Like its cosmic namesake, this motor is invisible power. Tiny, dense, and able to sling a 2-ton hypercar to 60 miles per hour before you finish a sneeze. Let me tell you this, the secret sauce is something Koenigsegg calls Raxial flux. Think radial flux for grunt, axial for compact power. Koenigsegg merged them, Raxial, giving top torque and efficiency in a palm-sized package. Now picture this, your typical electric motor runs on 3-phase power. That means it cycles electricity through 3 channels to generate motion. But dark matter, it uses 6. That's like going from a 3-cylinder to a V12. Smoother, stronger, and a lot cooler. What happens next might actually melt your brain. But it gets crazier, because to push all that current, up to 1,300 amps, Koenigsegg had to build a custom silicon carbide inverter called David inverter. Yes, like David and Goliath. A tiny box that tames the most ridiculous electric motor on Earth. It's as if your toaster had to command a nuclear reactor, and it does, with 0 delay. You press the throttle and power doesn't just show up, it detonates. David inverter's silicon carbide transistors switch so fast, they beat Tesla's hardware by about 50 microseconds throttle to torque, microconducting 6 power channels in perfect sync while staying ice cool.
And here's where it gets crazier. The entire motor is made of carbon fiber. Not just the casing, almost everything inside, from the rotor to the stator, is built from forged or hollow carbon composite. The only metal, a few magnets, and a shaft made from aerospace-grade 300M steel. Every carbon piece is produced in-house. Koenigsegg 3D prints the molds, autoclaves the composites, and machines them on-site for total control. Why? Because steel's heavy, carbon's light, and when your whole brand is about beating gravity, every gram matters. But what matters even more is for you to like the video. Dark Matter even borrows Koenigsegg's air-core tech from their 9-kilogram hollow carbon wheels. Hollow rotor. Less rotational mass, faster spin-up, better throttle response.
The inside of this motor is basically a Formula One driver doing jumping jacks after 3 Red Bulls.
Now you might be asking, how does it stay cool? Good question. Carbon fiber doesn't move heat like metal, so the motor and the Gemera's 800-volt battery both bathe in dielectric cooling, so they went full space age with it. Koenigsegg runs direct liquid cooling over the windings and possibly the magnets. Direct liquid cooling and 6 phases keep it chill. Koenigsegg baked, froze, and redlined it at 8,500 RPM for 24 hours straight. Motor temps barely budged, proving a peak efficiency around 92%.
But wait, this next part changes everything. The original Gemera design used 3 Quark motors and a triple motor hybrid system. Complex, expensive, heavy. Then Koenigsegg's engineers sat down and said, what if we replaced all 3 motors with one insanely powerful one? Boom, Dark Matter was born. Now it powers the front axle of the Gemera, while the rear gets torque from a twin-turbo V8. Yes, 2,300 horsepower and a 4-seat GT that still swallows luggage and can creep 50 kilometers in silent EV mode. Koenigsegg will build only about 300 Gemeras at roughly $1.7 million each. Hyper-exclusive tech for hyper-exclusive wallets. With the V8 plus dark matter combo, Koenigsegg claims 0 to 60 in about 1.9 seconds, 0 to 124 in under 5, and a top speed north of 250 miles per hour, while tipping the scales at just 1,950 kilograms, lighter than a Porsche Taycan. Quarter mile, targeting mid-8 seconds, hypercar numbers in a family cruiser, and nearly 950 kilometers of total hybrid range. And here comes the showdown. Koenigsegg versus the world. Let's break this down real quick. Tesla's Model S Plaid hits 1,020 horsepower using 3 motors, basically a whole tech support team working overtime. Rimac pushes even further. Koenigsegg, just 1 motor, like showing up to a group project, doing all the work, and still acing the class. And that single motor delivers a jaw-dropping 800 horsepower and 1,250 newton meters of torque, spins to 8,500 RPM, all at just 39 kilograms. That's 20.5 horsepower per kilogram. For comparison, Rimacz's motors push out about 9 horsepower per kilogram. It's a flyweight, knocking out a heavyweight in one punch. And it gets better. No gearbox, no complex planetary gear sets, just direct drive with a clutch pack front diff that vectors torque side to side. It's leaner, faster, and so simple it's almost disrespectful. Scrapping the gearbox alone cut roughly 100 kilograms and about 10% of drivetrain losses, like ripping out a BMW 3 Series worth of mass.
You thought it was just about torque? Think again.
But here's the thing. They didn't stop there. Dark matter's torque density, 32 newton meters per kilogram. That's 4 to 5 times more than what Formula E cars use. And those are already cutting edge. Its power density is over 15 kilowatt per kilogram. You can't find that kind of ratio outside of turbines or Star Trek. Pound for pound, it rivals a small turboprop airplane engine. And regen braking can shove up to 300 kilowatts back into the battery. And here's where it gets fun. During prototyping, early test units made a high-pitched whine, like a dentist's drill. Christian banned earplugs in the dyno room until they fixed it. So, they redesigned the stator, added baffles, and dropped the sound below wind noise. A test driver said the loudest part of launch mode was his own heartbeat. But what if I told you that compact size isn't just for show? Because dark matter doesn't need a gearbox. The Gemera's front power unit gets shorter, lighter, and more efficient. That means more room for batteries, passengers, or even better aerodynamics. It's like replacing the engine room of a battleship with a Bluetooth speaker, and still getting more power.
Cost? Astronomical. Koenigsegg builds first, worries later. Reckless, maybe, but that's how industries leap. We mocked carbon brakes once too, now every supercar has them. Dark matter's composite is even designed to be recycled into fresh parts when its track days are over. But wait, this next part might be the craziest yet. Koenigsegg says they're exploring licensing the dark matter design. Koenigsegg may license dark matter to other brands. Think supercars, drones, even high-speed trains. Rumor says a future EV called Exodus might pack 2, unleashing 1,600 silent horsepower. Picture that tech in a VTOL drone lifting straight up, cruising like a jet, or a hydrofoil boat slicing water in eerie silence. Same motor, different playgrounds. Just the motor costs north of 60 million euros, basically a brand new BMW wrapped in carbon. Back to the Gemera. Roaring off the line with zero lag, the V8 screaming behind, and dark matter flinging electrons like confetti. The whole car becomes a tribute to mechanical insanity. A grand tourer, a family car, and a ballistic missile, all in one. Christian calls dark matter Chapter 1, a blueprint for future EVs, light, brutal, compact. The Swedish ninja of motors. Dark matter isn't just fast, it redefines electric performance. Lightweight, brutal, and built from carbon fiber. It proves what happens when one guy refuses to compromise.